Number 22 on your homework was negative 1/4 x, guys, y'all don't need to be talking now, plus 6 equals 2/3 x plus 28. Now, there is absolutely no reason to be scared of the fractions because fractions are just numbers. And when you have a calculator that can do fraction operations, you can do these just as easily as you can do any other problems out there. Okay? Is there anything that can be simplified on this left-hand side? No, I have a variable term, negative 1/4 x, and I have a constant term, plus 6. And on this side, is there anything that can be simplified? No. Got a variable term, 2/3 x, plus constant term, positive 28. So there's nothing that can be simplified, which means the first thing I need to do is get my variables on the same side. My preference, as I have told you, would be to subtract 2/3 x from both sides. That way I get my variables on the left-hand side, which is where I like them. Now, this side will cancel. Oops. This side cancels. And then I have negative 1/4 x minus 2/3. Now, you don't need to worry about plugging the x's in your calculator. Remember, when we're adding variable terms, we're really just adding their coefficients. So even if, where's my calculator? Even if you've got the variables in there, you don't need to worry about them. All you need to do is combine the coefficients. I may have to get somebody else to do it because I don't know where my calculator is gone. All right, so somebody in their calculator do negative 1/4 minus 2/3. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm pretty familiar with most of it. I think I got it. All right, so I have negative 1/4, and then I need to subtract 2/3. So that gives me negative 11/12. So I should have negative 11/12 x still plus 6 equals, and on the right-hand side, all I have left is 28. Now, this is what your work needs to look like. You've got a quiz tomorrow. Now, the quiz tomorrow, and I already told my 8th period about it, but the quiz tomorrow is only going to be 4 questions. Now, wait, listen, don't stress out yet. Now, here's the way I'm going to do it. It's going to be a 4-question quiz. The goal of that being that you take your time, that you double-check your answers. Now, when you're done with the 4 questions, you're going to turn it in, and I'm going to grade it immediately. If you get all 4 correct, you're done, 100%, that's it. If you miss 1 or more, then there's going to be a second attempt at the quiz. 4 more questions. But if you get all of them right, you only get a 90. So you can no longer make 100. If you don't get all 4 right to begin with, then you can only make a 90. If you get all 4 right the second time, you make a 90, and you're done. If you miss 1 or more in the second attempt, there's a third attempt. That's the last one, though. Third attempt is only worth 80. If you miss more than one or more on the third one, then you just get the grade based on what you got out of those 4 questions. So you want to make sure you're getting it by the third attempt. It's only solving equations with variables on both sides. So, but I am looking at how you're showing work. So, no, it won't have fractions. It's very straightforward. But it's the same thing. If I'm getting rid of the variable here, I'm doing it on both sides. If you don't show your work on both sides, it's wrong. That's it. You have to move on to quiz attempt 2. You can lose 10% of your on a quiz quiz grade just by the fact that you didn't write minus 2/3 x here and minus 2/3 x there. So you better make sure you're showing your work on both sides. Now, from here, my next step is subtract 6. Again, I have to show it on both sides. On this side, the result is, why is it doing that? On this side, sorry, I was doing something funny. On this side, I get negative 11/12 x, and on this side, I get 22. And then from here, what operation is this?
Division.
A number sitting right next to a variable means you are multiplying. So that means to solve it, we need to divide. Now, to divide, we put all of this over negative 11/12. Okay. In your course of study, I'm supposed to teach you what a complex fraction is. This is a complex fraction. A fraction divided by a fraction. Okay, so this is a complex fraction. Now, 11/12 divided by 11/12, or negative 11/12 divided by negative 11/12 is 1. So you end up with 1x, which is simply x. And then over here, we also have to divide this by negative 11/12. And if we do 22 divided by negative 11/12, we get negative 24. So our solution is x equals negative 24. Yes. Number 14. All right, so for 14, we have 12p equals p plus 14 plus p. Now, remember, before we start solving, your first step, always, 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 is to look at each side separately and see if I can simplify it. Now, on the left-hand side of the equation, can I simplify that? No, it's 12 times p. And since we don't know what p is, I can't do that multiplication. That side's simplified. On the right-hand side, can I simplify?
Yes.
Yes, because I have like terms. So I need to combine them. This is 1p, and this is 1p. They're both positive, so 1p plus 1p is, so I get 12p equals 2p plus 14. Now, is there anything left to simplify on the right-hand side? No. I've got a variable term, and I've got a constant term that can't be combined, so that's it. It's simplified. Hang on, we'll finish this one, and I'll let you go. From there, we need to get rid of our variables on the same side, so I'm going to subtract 2p from both sides, which gives me 10p equals 14. And then from there, we divide by 10, and we get p equals 1.4, or you could have left it as a fraction. It would have reduced to 7/5 as a fraction. All right, so number 8. Yes?
Can we change the fractions to decimals if we want to? Yeah, can we do that?
You really want to get used to using your calculator, because the problem with changing it to decimals is that at some point they're going to come out to be really ugly decimals that you have to round. And in math, you never round an answer unless you're told to round an answer. So you're going to need to get used to it. And I mean, if you've got a calculator that does fractions for you, you really don't want to be getting in the habit of changing it to decimals. So no, and I really want you to keep them in fraction form to work with them. All right, so number 8, we have 2x plus 3 equals x. So once again, look at each side and see if there's any simplifying that can be done on each side. I think it's fairly safe to say we can't simplify the right side because it's just one thing. Obviously, I can't combine like terms or distributed property here. And then on the right-hand side, the left-hand side, is there anything I can do?
Yes.
No.
2x plus 3. Are those like terms?
No.
No. So this is already simplified. So since it's already simplified, my first thing that I need to do is put my variable terms together. So I'm going to get rid of the one that's on the right because I don't like it there. And since this is 1x, that means I need to subtract 1x from both sides. On this side, it'll cancel. Guys, y'all need to be quiet and listen, please. So on the left-hand side, 2x minus 1x is 1x, or just x. That's one thing I've noticed. Y'all need to get in the habit of, hey, if it's 1x and you're done with the problem, then it's just x. It's no longer 1x. Okay? So that's x plus 3 equals what?
You can't solve.
Yeah, you can.
It's 4x.
All right.
4x.
Let's pick a value for x. Let's say x is 7. So I have 7 minus 7.
0.
All right. Let's say x is 12. So I have 12 minus 12.
0.
It doesn't matter what x is. If I have x and I take away x, that leaves
0.
0. Now, if it was, x plus 2, then you would still have the 2 left. But we don't have anything else here, which means on the right-hand side of the equation, there is nothing left. So I have 0. But 0 is a number. Just because you get a 0 doesn't mean that, oh no, it's unsolvable, the end of the world. No, 0 is a number. Okay, you can still work with that. And then from here, I need to subtract 3. And so I get x equals negative 3. So my solution is x equals negative 3. Yes? Uh-huh. All right, hang on. We'll do it that way. So 2x plus 3 equals 1x. So, guys, y'all need to quiet down. So I'm going to subtract 2x, subtract 2x. That cancels, so I'm left with 3 on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, I have negative 1x. And then, but I'm not done because I don't have 1x, I have negative 1x. So to solve that, I have to... Yeah, no, you got to remember, is x being multiplied by 3? No, so we don't divide by 3 because that's not what I'm multiplying by. I multiply by negative 1, so I divide by negative 1. So then I get x equals negative 3. All right, other questions? We can maybe do one more. Barrett? 15? All right. Okay, guys, number 15. This is the last one we'll have time to do today. Quiz tomorrow, remember? So number 15 we have, guys, it's not time to pack up yet. If you start packing up early, I will hold you late. Now, 5b minus 4b equals 6b minus 2. All right, first step, what's the first thing we need to do? Zach? Right. This is one of the examples where we actually have things that need to be simplified first. On this side, that's not already simplified because 5b and negative 4b are like terms. So what's 5b minus 4b? 1b, or more simply, just b. Now, is the right-hand side simplified? Yeah, we have a variable term and a constant term, right? 6b and -2. So now, what's my next step? If they're all simplified, what do I need to do? Cole?
Subtract b. No, subtract 6b.
Okay, and you could subtract b if you wanted to. If you're not OCD like me and don't care which side your variable goes on, it doesn't matter. If you are like me and you want your variables on the left, though, I would subtract 6b. That cancels. Now here it's important to remember, again, that b is 1b. So 1b minus 6b is
Negative 5b.
-5b. And then we get -2 over here. And then my last step to solve is to divide by -5 on both sides. So I get b equals, and a negative divided by a negative makes it positive. And now since this doesn't come out to be a whole number, because 2 is obviously not divisible by 5, you can leave it as a fraction, or number 15, I think. Yeah, 15. So you could leave it as a fraction 2/5, or you could divide it out as a decimal and get 4/10 as a decimal. So, all right.